Hello, my friends. That time of year again, where we release some of our fan favorite episodes, and I say fan favorite because probably I think we only have one fan. And it's definitely not Megan or Jess.
No,
It's my mom.
It's Mrs. Dubell. So this time of year, we release a lot of our like kind of signature holiday turn of the year episodes. Coming up soon, we'll have my annual top 25 cigar aficionado rant, which I know everyone gets really excited for. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go off the handle this year because I've already seen
the first 3,
10, 9, and 8, and okay.
You look really pleased about that.
Yeah, okay. But let's talk about, I think, the most important list in the cigar industry, which is the now officially the JR Cigar top 25 cigars of the year. You can see it in this month's edition of Cigar Magazine. They finally listened to me and Chris. We got in full print.
I know, and we went big with this too, man.
We did.
We've been waiting on this for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, and we still messed it up. We still didn't. You know, if you give 2 mooses a muffin, or whatever the saying is.
Yep, that's it. Definitely.
So, no, we went... Isn't that the saying?
I really have no... I thought it was like a mouse and a mouse and a moose or something.
It's a mouse, a cookie, but then there was another book, if you give a moose a muffin, he's going to want some jam.
Sounds like communist propaganda.
That's the whole point of these books, is stop giving out these muffins to mooses.
You gotta earn your
muffins. That's the new manifesto. Earn your muffins. Probably shouldn't say manifesto.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you want to say that.
Say manifesto.
It's the second time you said that
today.
today.
What do you have for healthcare? So usually how this list goes is kind of me and Chris throughout the year kind of pick the cigars like, oh, I really like this one. I kind of want to include this in the top 25. We make some notes, and then towards the end of the year, we kind of look at everything we've written down and then try to organize it in a rank. This year we did like official with like a panel.
So there's like 10 of us, right?
Yeah. So what I did is I told everyone on the panel, I picked the panel, and I said, I think I told you guys to give me 10 initially.
Yeah.
I said, give me your top 10 cigars of the year from these 10 different people.
I did 25 like an asshole.
Well, no, because me and you
yeah.
And then
I think I did more than 10.
I took that and I assigned like, all right, how many people had this cigar? How many people had this cigar? And then I put that into like, all right, out of all the cigars chosen, here are the 25 that occurred the most.
The most, yeah.
Then I sent that list back out to the panel and I said, rank these 25.
Yep.
And then took that and be like, all right, how many number one votes to this one? Like basically the total, the least amount of numbers.
A whole lot of X looking up for you.
Dude, you know how many X lookups I just did building the sampler? I was X looking up like a madman.
Look at that. Look at you go.
I know. You taught me well. So this is an actual consensus of the cigar smoking team here at JR. So we're actually going to break this podcast up into a few parts because we're going to get a few different perspectives. Today, we are doing numbers 25 through number 20. And we are joined by none other than our legendary lead buyer and soon-to-be ex-con, Warren Dubell. So, Warren, thanks for joining us. Before we get into the actual list, which I want to get to the page where it starts, a couple of honorable mentions of cigars that came out before or right either during or after when we were putting this list together that we either didn't have in time or that came out way after. One of them, I think, is the Monte Cristo M, which launched a couple of weeks ago. I know you were heavily involved with like helping them with the content and all that, and you were the guy who like brought it in.
Yeah,
and that was fun.
Quite
an expedition for you.
Fun.
But I think that cigar is insanely good.
It is definitely worth every penny, 100%.
There's a lot of pennies too.
Yeah, it is fantastic though. That is like one of the few Connecticut shade or Connecticut wrappers that I'll actually go out of my way to buy.
Yeah,
100%.
Really?
Yes.
There's a few Connecticut's. I'm.
As I said, there's a few I would, but that one, like for that price point, I typically wouldn't spend that much. But it is worth 100%.
Well, your heart got broken when you saw that Drew was discontinuing some of the SKUs of the.
I must have been the only one, I guess, because someone was like, "Fine," or someone said something. What?
I heard someone in store today talking about how they were upset about it.
I just love the Antonio, Connecticut.
Were they discontinuing the whole line or just a couple of SKUs?
No, I'm pretty sure it's like a whole line,
Yeah.
like lines,
Really?
lines.
That
plural,
cigar
I'm pretty sure.
really is very good. I am surprised about that.
That's one of the few cigars I've actually bought a box of.
Oh, really?
When I first started here, and then during the 58th launch, I bought a bunch of boxes there too.
Well, if you want some more boxes, they're probably selling them cheap now. So
yeah.
let us know. We can
Get that
get you
nice
some.
deal,
Yeah. No, I definitely enjoy that cigar a lot.
But
Also, Henry Clay Warhawk's one of my favorites.
That is a good one.
But I think the Monte Cristo M,
I will
it's
say,
it's a step above the rest for both.
It's class.
and we're gonna have a friend who's really mad at me saying this. I think the Monte Cristo M, in terms of the high-end luxury Connecticut, that there's really only one competitor for. Who's our boy, the doctor.
Oh, of course. I mean,
I think this
yes.
is
It puts him in the wheelhouse.
as good as any of them,
Yep.
and better than some of them.
yes, no, and it really puts them in the wheelhouse to actually.
does.
It really elevated the brand. I
Well,
would say,
because
as a whole.
look at in terms of like that high end luxury cigar, you would think like, oh, they're all Connecticut's. Really, none of them anymore are, except
No,
for Davidoff and now the Monte Cristo M. Padron tried once to
Oh, really?
release a Connecticut, the Damaso.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Didn't I think even Padron was like, yeah, we didn't do a good job with this. Like it just they were offering it to us as an exclusive at one point, and we were
Which
like,
is just
yeah,
not.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
we're
says.
good.
Do you think the Monte Cristo M kind of will? How do I say it? Because every time I speak in things, it's always like sports terms. But do you think it's now going to
Score a touchdown?
No.
Is it D1?
Yeah, T1. Is it? Is it
going
going
to the league.
Is it going to? Is it going to like? Are other companies going to look at that and be like, all right, like, not backs against the wall, but like, all right, now like I'm going to try and like
I get what you're saying.
Like
shift,
one up them.
shift to try and
shift to
go
do it
towards
like
that.
in a good way, not like always, because you probably don't want to shift to what your competitors are always
course.
doing on throughout the entire industry. But I mean, if a competitor smokes and is like, God damn, this is really good. Do you think maybe someone who hasn't really made a Connecticut might do that and
So,
see,
I
can see
think there's
people
a
trying.
I think there's a few factors. I think that obviously they've been pushing a higher version. Like Monte Cristo should have always been the creme de la creme, like the highest version.
Yes.
I think that a great example of what they were trying to accomplish is something that Cohiba has been doing. Maybe not necessarily with all of their standard offerings, but like the Weller or the Spectre.
That is a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Like put it like this needs to be in that league.
category. Yeah.
It's not your standard Cohiba. It is something
Yeah.
that's a higher it's,
Exactly.
You're
And-
treating
and-
yourself for a nice you earned this.
And they're trying to, I think, take the standard Cohibas and like elevate them too. I think they want Cohiba as a brand to be like overall elevated.
I mean, I feel like it kind of should be. It has that prestige to it, I think.
I mean, Cohiba, maybe not for guys like us who not only know our industry, but like even in terms of the Cuban industry, like we know that Cohiba is the name, but like I prefer a Partagas Series D or a Monty Open Eagle or an H. Upmann Petit,
Of course.
whatever. But in terms of name recognition tied to like luxury, Cohiba. It's Cohiba and Monte Cristo, and Cohiba
100%.
probably has a little bit of an edge in terms of like just notoriety.
Just because I would say it's strictly towards that Cuban market because of that European influence too.
I 100% agree. So I think Monty is doing something similar, not copying them, but being like, we need to elevate our marquee brand.
Yeah.
Why I hope that many people don't respond to it like that, Chris, like why I hope they don't, is because then it's a right. Like, listen, this cigar is worth every single penny because it is expensive. I think it's like $35,
It's like roughly like 30,
$36.
like 30,
Yeah.
30s for a stick. Yeah.
The problem is if too many people follow in that footsteps, like not only am I going to be priced out of my own industry because I can't afford too many cigars like that, but then also it takes something away because like I can tell the amount of time and effort and like I can tell where the money goes with this cigar. You do another cigar next year and you just say, oh, it's Monte Cristo, whatever, and you charge $32 for it. It better be on that level. I better be able to smoke the difference in terms of the price. Because if you just start wanting to price all of your product like that, and it's like That's a very specific genre of cigar.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking like, boutique companies or brands are going to kind of step
of the
up and be
bigger
like,
guys,
let
you're
me do
saying?
that. I'm thinking like whatever level you think Monte Cristo's on, because I don't know. Let me say it so I don't get in trouble. I correlate like Monte Cristo with the big dogs,
Yeah,
right? Because they've been around forever. To me, some of their cigars haven't like lived up to, how consistent like a Davidoff's line is, right? So I'm just wondering if like, all right, Monte Cristo puts out, has the M out, is like someone like a Padron, Oliva, a Davidoff gonna be like, all right, our cigars are usually here. Let's try to like
Push it even
let's
further.
create something that will live in this price point.
Yeah.
But now how are we gonna like make it like what, like, are we going to have a wrapper aged a little bit longer than,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's going to be like, it's going to birth healthy competition with the big dogs of the industry. I guess that's what
Getting more creative too. And I
yeah.
guess, in a sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole story behind the M and we had an episode where we unveiled the box they sent us.
The packaging's amazing.
The packaging.
I mean, the influencer box that Oliver
Yeah.
sent me was.
I mean, the packaging on the
gorgeous.
regular boxes too is
Yeah.
incredible.
So I'm just kind of wondering how much this is going to, like, how much, how often do we see a game-changing cigar? And I don't want to say the Monte Cristo M is a game changer, but I wonder if people are going to
I feel
look
like it
at
changes
it
Monte
and
Cristo
see
a little
it.
bit.
I think
It changes
it's
Monte
I
Cristo.
think it's a game changer
but
for
does it change
Altadis.
every?
Yep.
Okay.
I think it's a game changer for
100%.
Altadis, and I think you're going to see. And I've seen some things that I can't share yet, but I've told you guys
Yes,
about
of course.
that. They're going to start in a different direction when it comes to their branding and like honestly like the amount of time
It's
that
worth
goes
keeping an
into-
eye out on,
Yeah,
I would definitely say.
absolutely. But yeah, Monte Cristo M. Definitely. I mean, I think that cigar would have easily made our top 10 this year if it was.
You'll see it on
that
you'll see it on a
100%.
bunch
I would
of
say
lists
it's
next
top
year.
five,
Yeah,
honestly.
it'll be.
It was really-
It was truly.
You'll see it on a
another
bunch of
one
lists next year.
that I think would have cracked the top 10 was the Las Calaveras, the 10th anniversary, that John sent us a box of. I mean, I thought that his regular Las Calaveras this year was one of his best. And then once I spoke the 10th anniversary, I almost kind of
Made
forgot
you
about
really-
it. Like, I forgot
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the regular release.
Mhm.
It was really, really good. It was really, really good. And I'm glad that, John came out of the gate swinging with that one because he easily could have made a fine cigar and it would have
And
sold a lot.
continued on with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then
there's,
move on to the next thing. But he really,
there's
you
plenty
could
of
tell.
fans that are going to buy it regardless, but then
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you could tell they put a lot of effort into the packaging.
Yeah.
Like remember the band was like
Yeah.
really eye catching.
I think the box had all the colors or most of the colors from like all 10 years of the line in like one packaging to kind of pay homage to it. And it was one of the it was a different style box because usually they usually do like like a thicker box. This one was more like a regular like cigar box, like laid out like
I think they usually
more
do
like
boxes
10
of 20.
Yeah.
So this one was box
So,
of
but
10.
so box of 20 usually stacked up like 3-4 across, right? This was box of 10, and it was just you could tell that the box was a part of obviously celebrating it as well. It was beautiful.
I mean, everyone we're moving to boxes of 10 and everyone's following us. How many more trends must I set?
there is also another cigar I want to mention too. Aventura, Blue Eye Jack.
Yes, the Blue Eye Jack.
Phenomenal cigar.
So we on these lists because sometimes they're not all brand new cigars, but sometimes it is a cigar that's like new to us. Like maybe
Yeah.
we didn't
Yeah,
carry
of course.
it. And I think when we started like re-engaging with Aventura and like bringing them in, this was already pretty much.
It was already we
set.
already had settled on
But
it before.
Aventura is definitely a brand,
Their whole
and the
line,
Blue Eye
really.
Jack I
That
think is
one-
one that And you know what? What was the one I had the other day? The Espinosa Maduro.
Yes.
Espanola
Yep.
Maduro
That
definitely.
was really good.
JM.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what
Yep,
we'll do
by
is why don't we'll make a little blog or something about
Honorable mentions?
about honorable mentions that we can attach on, and then just put links because it's stuff we all sell. But
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
definitely that's what makes this list speak. In order to get it, like it's so much work to get it to this point that we unfortunately have to do it before like
a lot of
everything
stuff-
is
like
is
something-
released.
Yeah.
So next year I'm going to start even earlier. I'm going to tell the vendors like even if it's launching in November, if you have
Let us know
some,
so we can prepare
let
and
us
also
know,
get it
like,
in there.
yeah, like, so at least we can smoke it and see if it's going to make the list. I'm
Yep.
like, I don't mind putting something in here that maybe doesn't launch until December.
Or we're not
But
fully if we're not fully stocked on it yet.
If
'cause
it
hasn't been
launches
shipped
within
yet.
the calendar year, I'm
Yes.
okay putting it on the list because
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because then here's the shame of it. Am I going to remember
You're
Monte
not
Cristo
next year.
M next October?
Nope.
Am I going to remember Adventure? Am I
You're
going to
not.
remember the Las
There's gonna be so
Calaveras?
much
Yeah,
other
Las
stuff
Calaveras
from now.
10th is going to be gone by then.
Yep.
I'm not even
Yeah,
going to be able
there's
to
just
do it.
there's so many.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the? I mean, I really enjoyed the HVC bundles.
HVC bundles, yeah. I
know
think if we did like a budget cigar thing, they
Yeah.
would be like number one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know it's more
100%.
so
Those
budget
are
with
delicious.
bundles, but like that, I kept going back to that cigar this year. Just an honorable mention. Just,
You want a bundle of those? I'll send you one. I'll take care of you.
I'll take care of me.
There's a bundle of those laying around here.
I can just get one. Guys, I can just, they gave me access to just like get stuff.
That's not a good idea at all. That's not
I
how
didn't
it
want
should
to do
be.
it. They made me do it after somebody else left. So now I can just like, you want it? I'll get it to you. We were talking to Adam. He was like, "Oh, I was wondering if we can do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
No problem. I got you." Now I have the account is on my ass.
I was gonna say now you got everyone else reaching out to
I'm
you.
blaming you. Let's get into our top 25
Yes.
cigars for 2024. And Chris, you actually have the first one, and you're smoking it right now.
Dude, this is Dad's Home Movies by Punch. This was one I did not. Like I said, we had like 10 people on our committee. We'll say I didn't choose this one, but when we were putting together a list, I looked into it and I thought it was a really interesting. I don't know, their branding. We've talked
Their
about. We've had
packaging is-
John Hakam on about branding and
I love
their
their packaging.
and their packaging, and it's a box press, which I'm really enjoying. But yeah, so far so good. I'm
So what are the
I say,
blends on
and I
it?
like how it comes packaged in the VHS.
yes, yeah. I mean,
And last year was the actual like the dad bod beer
yes.
containers. Those
I mean,
were awesome too.
they're definitely geared towards.
Ooh, Ecuadorian Habano wrapper.
Yeah, it's really good. They're
Yeah.
definitely geared toward like I hate using the word gimmicky or gimmicks, but they are geared towards people who may not. I don't know. How do I?
It's something that looks
Like, people
nice
have
too
bought
for
in-
presentation alone.
Exactly.
I
People
can
have
see,
bought
yeah.
bottles of liquor that look
Yeah.
interesting,
Like a
right?
gun.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
is it like,
Like
is it like
isn't there a bottle of tequila that's like
That's
a
gun.
AK-47
yeah,
or
Yes.
something?
Yeah. So
And then-
people have bought that. So I think maybe it's geared towards, if someone wants to buy something for their father, for their boyfriend,
yeah.
things of that nature. The mic's telling me to stop talking on its own. But no, I think it's just very interesting. Like I said, I enjoy the band. It has the Punch Elf, right?
The guy.
The guy, the
bobblehead.
punch
Yeah,
guy
I always
on
call
there.
him bobblehead because it's always on
Bobblehead,
bobblehead.
yeah.
But
no, this is pretty good. I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, John set me straight when I had him on the show about like their like what they're doing to the
Everything,
Punch
yeah.
brand. But no, but he made some really good points, and then they're still going in the traditional route with like the Golden Era, which is really
it's
really
good. Yeah, that's one I will
Yeah.
consistently.
I will say I was drawn to the Punch Dad's Home Movie because first of all it is a very good cigar, and that's how they keep tricking me with this nonsense because that's how when
You don't want to like it,
when I
but
was
you're
getting
made
on
to.
about the
nonsense.
Chinese food container ones, and it was like the egg roll, and I think the
Or clever.
chow mein,
Bento.
Yeah.
the bento, and I
yeah.
smoked like one of each of them. I'm like, God, like you can't make them good, and he made them good. They're really really good.
John was the first person ever who's like off. Like when we were setting up to record, he was like, "Nick, I want to talk about what you said about the bento box on a few episodes before," and it was a very
He's ready to go.
Yeah, he was ready, but he was.
Rightfully
It was
so.
a very
I had
mature
him-
conversation.
I had
honestly.
him on because like he messaged me and he's like, I have some things to say about the thing, and I'm like, dude, I'd love to have you on. Like, I am not gonna. There's been a few people who have DM'd some kind of correction or a comment that I have addressed. I am wrong. I should not be doing this job.
You shouldn't have access to the things you have access to.
know.
Let's be honest.
I'm
But
sending myself everything. What do you want? I'll send it to you.
money inbox.
So I am totally okay with somebody coming on and like, hey, this is why we do it, and if it makes sense, I have no problem changing my opinion on something. Also,
We're setting the
being
record straight.
such a video whore in my youth, like I was renting videos
No.
constantly.
You don't seem like a movie guy at all.
Anyway,
You're setting me up. Come on.
did they even have movies when you were born, or was
Believe
it
it or not,
all,
Blockbuster was a
just
thing.
Nick Junior?
Believe it or not, I did have Blockbuster
Was it
for
all
a few
digital?
years.
Was it all just on a hard drive? But it coming in like the dual VHS packaging, which is how I bought Titanic. I remember Titanic came on dual VHS. So it spoke to me a little bit. So great cigar. It's hitting my funny bone with the Dad's Home movies and the VHS. So all in all, a winner, and very happy it's on the list. Number 24, we have the Cohiba Riviera Robusto in the box press. I've smoked this a bunch. I can't remember exactly the blend.
Yeah, I have smoked at least, I'd say 15 of those.
Yeah,
So-
different sizes too.
Oh, yeah,
but
different
this one
sizes
is
and
This
really
is your
size really
account,
Yes, of course.
and we all know that you and the guys over at General, I mean, you're hanging out once a week. You guys are going,
We're having a good time.
you're having a real nice time.
We always do.
What is your impression of the Cohiba Riviera and its comparison to like other? I don't want to say standard Cohibas, but like take the Weller and the Spectre like out of it.
Yeah, of course. Like you're thinking about like a regular red dot,
Red
something
dot
like that.
or
Yeah,
a black
of course.
or something like that, or a Royale.
I think if you're smoking those regularly, the Riviera is easily something that you want to try out. It's nothing that's too different, so it's not like it's going to completely throw you off. It's something that's still in that wheelhouse that you can really still enjoy.
Yeah, and I like it with the San Andreas wrapper. It's not too dark. It's not comparing with the Cohiba Black, which is also a Maduro wrapper. But I want to say the Cohiba Black is a
It's not. It doesn't have like a punch to.
It
Like
doesn't
that
have a
nicotine punch
kick to
yeah.
it. It's very smooth. There you go.
Doesn't have a punch. Yeah, there you go.
But again, and if you even look at the box, the picture of the box here, like comparing that, and because this is when I say standard, I mean like a core line release.
Yes. Yep.
Comparing it with other Cohiba core line releases, it's already like much more elevated. I do like how they redid all the Cohiba bands in the past couple of years.
It looks
Because
a lot
like that
classier.
original like red dot. I mean,
yeah.
It looks
from
classier
my
to me.
youth. When I say youth, like my industry youth, like that Cohiba red dot with that band. That's just what like it was always just it was always a sampler of nonsense at like us or CI.
And then you throw
And then
one
you
of
throw
those in
one
there,
of those in
and
and
it brings up the price.
Well, the MSRP on this one is
Yep.
this much. The
Because
whole
of that
sampler is
one.
worth it. This is actually now they're getting into like no, this is like this is a Cohiba core line, meaning it still has to hit a certain threshold
Yep.
of quality, and it's definitely hitting that. And it's a lot of rich flavor. And like I said, really like the band on it too.
I never once had any
yeah,
construction issues
What's
or
that?
anything with it.
What's
It's
that called?
phenomenal.
Is it like not? It's glossy, but it has like a not hieroglyphics. What's it called? When you
I know exactly what you're saying. Like a reflective type.
Yeah. Come on, Chris.
I have no idea.
Monochromatic.
No, I'm trying to think of what it is because it reminds me of. Wait, can I see it real quick?
Yeah.
It's like a UV. Is it like a UV?
No, but what it reminds me of is also like the Cuban Cohiba, like how they have the hologram.
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 How they have the hologram in them to tell, like that's the easy way of telling if it's real or not. Too.
Right,
It's similar
right.
to.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm realizing as I, spend more time in the industry, I guess I get I don't get fooled by the bands. I think there's more appreciation for the bands on the cigar. I know that's part of the marketing and whatnot, but this just pairs so well together with the look of the wrapper, like
just
how dark the
elegant.
wrapper is. It just I don't know. It just works so well together. The purple, the silver. But yeah, I mean, as far as Cohiba goes, in terms of their bands, I think one of you just mentioned. I think they've gotten better with the redesigning, right? You were saying.
I think that they took a big swing with the Spectre, especially at that price point. I think it was like the first one was like they're all like $99.
They're all over. Yeah.
But that was the first one that I remember that had the holographic band and like those crazy
Those
boxes.
crazy humidors were they're
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
And it worked out so well that I think they're like, all right, well, there's elements of this. We can't do everything like this because the cigar was so expensive. But there's elements of this that we can take and put throughout our core line. The bands is one of them. I think that they took the original Spectre box, that like oval box, and I think they did the Royale in that box. But I think it became, because you got to think, a limited edition that you're going to put on like the main shelf of a store, it can be an unusual size.
Yeah.
Something that you need to core line, you need to consistently stock.
You need to make sure it fits the.
So I think that they're changing that but like it was the Royale box had it. It had like the cigars were placed like this. Like it had one,
Staggered,
2,
kind
3,
of.
4, 5, 6,
Yep.
7, and like this half an oval.
It'd be nice if they had the biometric.
Yeah.
Like
Wait,
like
did you
the
see?
Spectre.
Did you see the Spectre box that opened? Like the last one, you like hit a thing and it like opened. That was
They're
insane.
Or just like the hydraulic.
Yeah, the hydraulics.
Was that at the PCA you went to with Greg? Or
No, I
this
saw
was
it in
more
the
recent.
store. We had it in the
okay.
store. I don't know. I doubt it's still there. Somebody probably bought it, but it was
I'm pretty
really, really cool. No, that one was the second Spectre that I got from Sean, and I remember I smoked it like I was gonna save that one forever, but I ended up smoking it next year because it was COVID. I was like, I remember I was drinking a lot. I was drinking I was doing a bunch of either bourbons or like craft beers. Like
Craft beer was huge during the COVID, I feel.
every day I was on my front stoop with like a cigar and like a craft beer.
We talked about it during Carton when we went to Carton and did our reviews.
Yeah.
About how
so
Carton.
much of my weight gain during that period. I mean, the Carton, the New Jersey double IPA.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to talk about. Those are some strong beers.
I would get a 4-pack on a Friday night if my roommate at the time was gone. I'd get a 4-pack, and then I would get what I call like white people tacos. It was like because it was like buttermilk fried chicken and like braised short rib taco. It wasn't like authentic.
it wasn't.
Taco.
It's not something that you'd get.
Tacos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would like binge watch like a show like Lucifer or something, and I would drink 4 of those tall boys.
I love how you chose Lucifer to just
No,
binge.
'cause I'm telling you, I have a distinct memory of one night and having a really nice time.
You had a good time?
Of picking up a 4-pack of the New Jersey double IPA,
Your tacos.
getting Taco Affair is the name of the place, drinking all 4 while eating the tacos and watching that show, and just having a real good night.
I mean,
The devil was amongst us anyway, so
Yeah.
might as well watch it.
I saw after those 4 beers, I saw the devil.
I met him.
Yeah, I met him, and he was not cool. He was kind of a dick.
Ruined my morning.
Ruined it. Oh, dude, I used to get the worst hangovers. I get them still bad now, but like I don't drink as much, so they're not. I mean, dude, 4 of those beers, that's like alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
Because they were also like, if they were in
They're
a
what, like
regular
9?
can, it's bad enough. They were
They're
the
like
tall
8-9%, right?
Yeah, they were the tall boys. We had one down there that was what was that like special? It was like the black one. It was like
Coffee?
No, it wasn't
The
coffee.
blunt ale? Are you talking about?
No. It
Or
was
was
like
it-
it was the one that came in like the snifter.
Was
It
it,
was like
like the
aged in, like, an
waffle?
oak-
It was a
It was a seasonal.
barley wine.
Yeah, it was like a barley
Barley
wine.
wine,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. That
And
thing was
it-
potent.
It was what was the? It was like blueberry pancakes or something. What was?
It was something like that, but the percentage it was like a 16%.
Yes,
It was
yep.
like it was lethal.
I remember. I had to note it on my app. I was
Yeah.
like, that's something I would come back to.
So now we're up to number 23, which was what I'm smoking, which is the Crux Epicure Habano Toro. Crux is another cigar, like I said, not new to the world, but new to us. I think you were one of the quarterbacks of bringing them in when they came in. I think this was this year?
I forget if I brought them in, but I know I've been buying for them for some time now.
I was just very impressed when I started smoking them, and I know I included them in some of the Cigar of the Month boxes.
They're a sleeper.
They are. They're
That's the best way
definitely
to
like,
describe it. They're a sleeper. A lot
we
of
should
people
have like
don't.
a category for like a sleeper, and Crux is definitely one. It's made at Plasencia, Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, but just this is my kind of cigar, like my everyday. It's medium body, some nice soft flavors to it, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of spice, nothing
not too
crazy.
much.
No, something I can smoke all day. It's not going to kill my
You
palate.
can go walk the dog with it
Exactly,
and enjoy yourself.
exactly, and also very reasonably priced.
What size is that?
This is a Toro. It's 6x50, I believe.
15.
Didn't say it, but I think it's 6x50.
It's like a 50 or 52,
Yeah.
Yeah. But burns really well. And I do like the bands. Like they're not
I like the
overly
bands.
complicated, but they're unique enough.
Yep.
They, I can't remember the gentleman's name who I've worked with over there to get some, like when I get like bulk and
Bulk
stuff.
and-
But super nice guys.
Oh, yes. Very easy
like,
to work with.
Very easy to work with. And listen, that matters. Like when you're working on
huge.
this side of the table, like
Yeah.
somebody who's easy to work with,
It makes you want to do more work with them.
Exactly.
That's the easiest
Either
way of putting
bringing
it.
more
Yep.
of their stuff in, trying out their new stuff, doing a private label project.
How you can work together and continue the relationship.
Yeah,
Exactly.
If both of you guys can,
It's a mutual benefit.
or like they don't give you headaches, you don't give them headaches. I think that's just.
I
it works
learned
out.
a lot this year of like who to work with. And so like next year I know this guy's going to be really easy. This guy's going to be easy.
This is who I'm working with for sure. This is I gotta keep more of an eye out. Yep.
Exactly. I don't want to have to handhold somebody. It's like I want to give you the information and cigars show up. Like obviously there's a lot of work in between that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times where it's
lot of
like,
performance.
oh, do you need this thing? And I'm like, yeah, of course I need. Like, why wouldn't I need that? Of course I need that thing.
You know I need this. Come on.
Like, come on. So, but Crux was super easy to work with, and the cigars are really great. And I agree, sleeper is a perfect way to describe them. 22, we have the Espinosa Sumatra in the Robusto. I gotta say, never a tremendous Sumatra fan,
You guys want to take a look?
but I have
I've had a couple of
found
these.
in this cigar with Eric how well he was able to blend it. It works out real. I can't remember if this comes from his factory or one of the ones he did at AJ, but regardless, this is something that he did. But it has that tremendous nuttiness that I find in like the better Sumatras. Sumatras, to me, if they don't do them well, they can come out a little bitter, you know?
Yeah.
But this one I found very smooth.
I was a fan.
I very much enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Also, oddly enough, there's not a lot of people out there using purple, and we have 2 purple ones right here with the Cohiba
Yep,
and
that
the
is true.
Sumatra.
Purple and gray, yeah.
I'm just gonna next year. I'm gonna start using like colors that like people just don't use.
You might as well. I mean, you got to stand out some way, and that's one way of doing it because who else really does that? And I feel like Espinosa does some really. They do a lot of great things with their marketing and like branding too.
Well,
I mean,
if you,
Yeah, like the Laurent.
yeah,
Laurent,
so-
if you think of orange, like what cigar is orange? I mean,
Yeah.
I might say Revival because it's my baby.
you might say Revival or Mother Church. I can
Yeah,
see, but
but
realistically,
I mean, really,
that's,
for the industry as a whole, you go to it's literally the name of the cigar.
Yep, exactly.
I think the same thing with like green. There's not a lot of greens out there.
So I think the only thing I can think of is really the Amulet or the Envy.
Yeah, with that.
Well, the
Yeah.
Inspirado green, I usually.
Inspirado green,
kinda-
yep.
But green
But
is in the
green.
name.
True.
You can't have
yeah.
green in the name. The cigar has to carry on its own, and it also is green, except for L'Orange, because even though it has
Because it's
orange,
different.
it's not called the Espinosa Orange. It's
Yeah.
called
Yes.
L'Orange, which I don't think
That
most
sounded
people-
very French.
Well, he calls it. So I called it the. He
I'm
called
just
it.
saying how you pronounce
No,
it.
he pronounces it differently than I think I pronounced it differently than him, and he was right. He pronounced it like simpler. I was overcomplicating it.
That's what it sounded like. You wanted to.
I think
throw a
I
little-
think he calls it Laranja, and I was calling it the Larange, and he's like, no, it's Laranja. I'm like, all right, excuse me, Eric.
Saint Laurent.
Yeah.
The Umbagog, obviously, that's the only one that's another one that comes to mind where it's just
Yeah, green.
dark green.
Yep.
and-
Yeah, like earthy green.
yeah.
But I've been
But that-
liking like even that kind of. I was talking to somebody about it recently because
interesting-
we've been seeing it like on cars, like
Yeah.
that kind
The
of
matte
dark, like
wrap.
that like woodsy green. I'm like that really
Yeah.
is cool.
Certain cars it fits.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah.
Like the Cybertruck. No, I'm kidding.
I saw a pink wrapped Cybertruck the other day, and I just
I saw a blue one and I wanted to drive off the road.
Me and Megan, when we were coming back from the city on Friday, we were taking an Uber from the city to the train station, and we were in a Tesla. I don't know which one, the bigger sedan. But it was a sedan, but it had like the entire roof is like a skylight.
my grandparents have it. It's so
she
nice.
was looking up. She's like, "This is
Yep.
so amazing. I want to buy
It is
one of these."
really.
Yeah.
It
nice.
is.
I will give them that.
You know what? New York might be the only place where if I had to drive a car, I would take a Tesla because it's so much easier for them to have charging stations than it is for them to have gas stations. Like there's
Oh, yeah.
only one section of the city that has like gas stations.
Yeah.
In it.
Plus, also with the Teslas, you can buy like the adapters and such. So when you're traveling, you bring the adapter with you, and it will plug into an outlet, and you
Yeah.
can just charge your car right there. So it makes it. I mean, in the city makes sense. I mean, think of it. I've driven through the city a couple times, and
There's
I've never gone into the city like with less than 3/4 of a tank, knowing I'm not going to
Yeah.
be looking for a gas
I
station
want to
here.
say the only ones I know of are
No shot.
I think they're like kind of by the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not in the city.
they're in
at all.
Jersey, yeah.
I mean, obviously, but
Yeah.
And you're not wasting too much gas in the city too, because I feel like you're always just, or maybe you are,
Yeah,
but
but
you
you're
might be because you're
stopping
stopping and going.
Sit-
Yeah, it could
I mean,
be.
dude, it took us 40 minutes to go from Penn Station to the Beacon Theater. It was like 2.3 miles. It took us 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Now this was rush hour Friday holidays New
You were
York.
asking for trouble.
I was fine
No,
with the
I'm
amount of
just
time, but just overall, that's a crazy
Yeah, no,
amount
it
of
is.
time to go.
It's a lot.
In my marathon running shape, I'm doing 2 miles in 25 minutes. Probably a little less, maybe more like 23. So for
Get
it
that
to
down
go
to 12.
40
You can get it down to 12.
for 2 miles,
Yeah.
I don't think my body would ever let me do that. I'm a big boy.
And you're not doing Subway.
No. Eat fresh. But no,
go, Jared.
Espinosa, the Espinosa Sumatra really stood out. Particularly, again, sometimes something of mine makes it onto a list or one of my favorites. Not necessarily because I think it was like the best of the best of the best, but if it took something that I don't generally like and made it like very, very good. Like, oh, I've never had a Sumatra that like, tickled me the way this one did. You know what I mean? So that's something as well.
I knew. Once I heard tickled, I had to put my head down. 'cause
You're
I-
a dirty hot dog, let me tell you. Next up, we have the Blackened S84. This is the Connecticut version of the Blackened. So
I love the collaboration as a whole.
Yeah.
I have to say.
I like this one better than the first one.
Really?
Yeah, I
Why?
just
Well, you be able to. I'll give you this. One.
just because I'm being more drawn towards Connecticut shade wrappers.
Interesting.
I think the M81 did come. Did it come in this size as well?
Yeah, I think they're all. I think
They're
the
all
same
in this
sizes.
size. Yeah.
pretty
Don't get me
certain.
wrong. I love the M81 is really good. I just think
One's
also,
pretty strong.
like I said, this is totally subjective. Shade to Black, which is a play on one of their songs, but the wrapper and the foot band, the band and the foot band just look so like nice and beautiful on top of the wrapper. But I think the foot band for the M81 wasn't that in like a copper,
Yep,
right?
copper.
Yeah, that matched
Pretty
it too. So, I just thought this was smoother. I think I'm smoking a lot more ever since I joined your guys' team for sure. So I think I'm looking. I think I'm in the mornings or throughout the day. I'm like let me do something a little bit lighter. So I'm
You're not going to have
exploring.
the most strong cigar.
Yeah, so I'm
ever.
exploring more. But I think this. I've had this a few times.
It's a lot easier than the
And,
regular.
Yeah, and it just like I've had it with Dr. Pepper, coffee.
It pairs well with everything.
Everything. And it just, the M81 was just like, I felt like I had to watch what I drank with it, or like if I
You had
smoked
to
in the
plan that
morning,
a
I
little
was a
bit.
little like, all right, this one to me is I could smoke it morning or at night.
I'm the only one when I hear the word copper, I think of like a. Copper.
Yeah. But that's, I would take the edge of the Shade to Black over the M81.
Yeah, I would say the first one, I remember for Father's Day, I got my dad the first rendition of it to have him try it out. I was like, he'll like this because obviously the connection there. And we went golfing. We're just at the driving range, and he's smoking it, and probably halfway through it, he looks at me, and he's just like, what do you think I smoke normally? Like, I'm dying. I was not, we didn't eat. We didn't have anything to drink there. And he was dying. He was like, I have to.
And you just see
was
James,
not prepared
James
for this.
Hetfield shredding the guitar on
Yep.
stage while he's smoking one of them,
Yep.
which is
Your dad would be a Metallica fan.
Of course he is.
yeah.
Of
But
course.
I love that. I love the like you said. I love the collaboration. I think Drew Estate
Pairs well with
but-
Drew Estate.
Yeah,
too.
I just think it just pairs well. And it I've never. Did you guys ever have the blackened? Is it bourbon or is it whiskey?
I think
What
it's
is it? I forget what it is.
I think it's a whiskey. I don't know if it's a bourbon.
Have any of you had
No,
that?
I
No, I would
haven't.
like to try it. So
So I found a lot of similarities between the original Blackened and the old Uzi. The Drew Estate Uzi weighs a ton. I think that might have been a little before
I was going to
your
say,
time.
I never.
It was around when
I
you
had
were
it.
around,
Yeah,
so-
I tried it when I first
but
started. Yeah,
I think it was like
I've heard of it plenty of times,
I
but
think
never.
it was like a
Muat.
similar. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Muat. I think it was similar to that, but like a more modern version. This is, I think, a standalone cigar in
Yeah.
the Drew Estate portfolio. There's not a lot out. They don't do a ton of Connecticut's. I mean, the
No, they
Ontario,
do-
Connecticut is Hoya. We're not really
Yep.
counting
but they
that.
did the Florida
That's-
shade grown.
Florida shade
which-
with
Yeah.
that Florida tobacco. It's very
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah.
And then
That
there
is
was the
very-
undercrown shade, which is probably the closest to this, but I still think this is a
I didn't even,
very
I didn't
different
even think
cigar.
about putting that in the same wheelhouse. Honestly,
very,
it's still
very different cigar.
it's
Did
very
they
noticeably
discontinue that or the what's the three undercrown? It's the shade grown,
Sun
the
grown.
I think they discontinued the sun grown.
I think so.
I honestly
I think
haven't got a
so.
chance to look at the full.
Yeah, it's like the one
list.
company you don't.
That's
buy
the
from.
yeah. I was gonna say that's
Like
the one
giant
company.
company you
Yep.
don't buy from. But no, the Blackened, tremendous cigar. And then our last one for today, and then we can always just shoot the shit a little bit. I got nothing going on. Number 20, the H. Upmann 180th anniversary, and I'm gonna let you take this one.
Which I mean, going off of the 175th, it was gonna be hard to try and top that. Let's be honest. You really.
That was our first ever number one cigar of the year. So
You
it was-
kind of have to
it
do a
was
lot of
tough.
work behind it. It is a great cigar. I am big out of the Upmann line. I'm gonna choose this one out of. I mean, as soon as you gave me the option today of which one of these I want to smoke, I mean, I'm grabbing this 100%. I mean, I have no complaints with it. That's the best way of putting it. It is a great cigar.
I don't have any complaints with it as a cigar on its own.
But are you saying comparing it to the 175th? I knew it. Yep.
175th, it was just which is why it's at 20 and like the 175th was. If they re-released the 175th, that also would have been like top 5 because that cigar was just so.
It was phenomenal. I mean, I've had a couple myself, and it's
Let me know if you want some more. That was one of those cigars that I lucked out that it came out and then COVID happened.
Stocked
And we
up.
were working from home, and every single vendor was just mailing me
Yeah.
boxes and boxes and boxes to
nice.
do reviews. I was doing
Top
these
fives.
videos, top fives. I was doing things with like Rafael Nadal
Yeah.
and like
Oh my God,
out
yeah.
to this like round table. So they were just sending me. I want to say at one point I had like 7 full boxes of 175th at my house, and a couple of boxes of the Monte Cristo 50 at the 50.
Yes.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say 50,
Yeah,
probably.
and I still have a bunch of the H. Upmanns. Not as many because I've been smoking through them.
We were filming. we were
regular
filming
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
We were filming during COVID every day.
Yeah,
Like,
that was all we. that was all we could
All
do.
we did was
I
like
had
top
no other-
fives,
yeah.
and Greg would have like the B-roll in his living room. Like it was.
It was. We were filming. Like I was either filming.
I was taking calls.
I was either filming virtually, or that was the year I worked on the dictionary. That's
Yes.
now on.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
on
This
the
is-
other.
Yes.
website.
Yes.
But a full on like word, like all the cigar
Mm-hmm.
terms you could. It took me a year to like go through the internet and find every single term, and then I had to write the definitions, but they had to be like SEO relevant, so they couldn't be. I
course.
couldn't copy from another dictionary
Yes,
online. I had
of
to
course.
make it my own, and it ended up being
Put
like
your own spin on it. And
700 or 800. Like it was a ton. It was a whole dictionary of
Yeah.
cigar terms. So
Interesting.
I was either filming during the day. I was filming that. Then after lunch, I would just write that dictionary or any other blog. And then at night, I would have some kind of whether it was cigar coop or a nighttime interview.
someone
or
just meeting up and
Yeah, we were, dude.
We were working.
But I think that what really made them take our department more seriously, because after that, it was, I'm not gonna say off to the races, but definitely
Yeah.
we were taken
more serious.
more
They saw you guys
seriously
were
as
trying
before
to do,
that.
Yep.
Because, like, dude, I mean,
wanna
ask
do more
Anthony,
with it.
For the first 4 years, we were begging, like, please let us do something. They were like, yeah, here's a camera, go upstairs, do whatever.
Just film
After
something.
that, it was kind of like, we want to do this. And they were like, okay, you
Yeah.
can do that.
I can't like really remember
The before four?
not that like the timeline, I guess. But I feel like we did a virtual herf every day. We even did we even did a virtual herf from the company that like does this. You know, I don't even know what the name of the company is, where you spray like your furniture so it doesn't smell like
Oh,
tobacco.
like a whip out.
Oh,
Type.
whip-
Yes,
we did
whiff.
whip out.
Like we even went down to that. Like we even did them, but like we did herfs like every.
I did round
We
tables. I
did
would do
round.
like,
Yeah.
John Huber and Steve Saka and like
Yeah.
the Rubin brothers.
So it was a good time.
It was. It made me the connections of
that you
like
needed.
who I
That helps
have
you out now.
Like it helps
Yep.
me out now, and that helps him out now. A lot of those were made at that time, and now I mean I know it's like, you know, we always joke around. I don't. Me and Chris don't take ourselves too seriously, but how many times does the doctor, when he's emailing, oh, can we get this guy in the podcast? Or we want to get this guy. We can
Yeah.
put this guy
I mean,
in the
it's
podcast.
it's good. Everything is good when it comes to exposure.
Everything is good.
Well, no, when it comes to like
Everything
getting
is good.
when it comes to getting like exposure, I would say
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
those
We
connections are
love
helpful.
exposing ourselves. Like that's what we want to do. It's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on exposing ourselves.
Well, going back to the 175th,
Yes. So the 170, the
like
big
the 180th,
difference
175th, yes.
is that the 180th is like 10% stronger.
That's
And
fair.
for me personally,
It's too much.
that's not what I
Because the
I like
175th
this. I like
itself
this.
was strong.
yeah.
You know,
Yes.
like it
I
was
like
one of
that.
those-
You like
did-
a little
yeah.
I like
extra.
a little bit more.
You like a little extra to it. So again, still it made our top 25 list. So still a
I
remarkable
say I know it was
cigar.
on my. I know it was on my 10.
But I mean, when you make a cigar that, like I said, this is my own opinion. When you make a cigar that's perfect for me, and then you tweak it, whatever you tweak it, whether you make it stronger or but if a cigar was perfect, any change to it is gonna knock it down
Yeah,
a
course.
percentage
Of
in
course.
my book. But I very much I will smoke the 180th as almost as much
Yeah.
as I smoke the 175th.
I would say the 180, and to that, our AUSA rep actually found 175th. When he was in our area, he was visiting a couple little local shops, and he found someone with 175th, and he brought us in a couple of them that one day.
He did.
Which was
Smoked
a
them.
great
Mine
surprise.
was gone. Mine was gone.
It was a great surprise.
I
I've
was
one,
also
I've one
cigar-
left.
That was the
One,
cigar we
yeah.
smoked with. So remember when we first came back in the office, and then they were doing like Doc was doing those like every Tuesday.
Yes.
He was doing like it was Doc or
Travis?
Travis. It was Travis.
Travis,
So
back in
that
the day.
makes sense.
Yeah. And Travis was doing like the cigar lunchtime things where he would like send some cigars and like he would do a Zoom call and everyone.
Yep.
He did one with the 175th, and now there was a bunch of people smoking in that room, and it wasn't well ventilated. It was in La Finca. and Derek was having it.
Oh my
and
god!
having Derek
Yes.
was like, I can't. He was like, he
Really?
was sweating.
Yeah.
And that was the 175th.
So this would be a different beast.
But
for him.
he's a little bit more,
He's
of a
more
man
seasoned,
now. Yeah,
more
he's
seasoned
a little,
now.
Yeah, he's a little bit. He's grown up.
That was his first year here. I think right past his. Wait, no.
It was
like his first 5 or 6 months, because he started in December of 19.
Yeah.
So he was like 4 months
wow.
in. He always says when he first, like his first day or two here, Greg and I took him to the lounge, and I think we were either smoking this thing. We were smoking a Monte Cristo. And he said, yeah, I just went to the bathroom and I puked once I was done. And then I just came back. I was like, really? He's like, dude, I never smoke. I'm like, but now he says certain cigars will like get him lightheaded. But I don't know. He smokes some pretty strong stuff. Like, his palate's obviously developed.
The Monty Epic got me when I first started. Like actually
I
smoking.
think that's the one we gave him.
I literally, when I got the job to come up here, I smoked that one in celebration as I was walking my dog real quick. Smoked it so fast because I wasn't really used to smoking. Like,
yeah.
stronger cigars at all, and then sure enough I was down for a little while.
I'm not just saying this. I think having definitely Nick and a few other people here kind of tell me how to smoke, because I love Greg, but Greg would he housed the Brimstone on a podcast. And he's like, I'm drunk right now. I can't stand up right now. He was like messed up from it. It was that strong.
He saw himself a veteran.
Yeah.
But was still like a private.
Yeah.
So he would do veteran shit,
and then
and
it would hit him like a private.
He's like, I can't stand up right now. I'm good. I'm like, oh wow.
That might be the last cigar I was gonna ask. Like, the last cigar that made me any kind of woozy might have been the Brimstone. But
I'm trying to think, man.
I don't know. I just do a lot of nicotine, so like I have a pretty high.
I think.
Yeah, I mean after
you could say it.
After zinning for so long, I mean I was throwing 12 milligrams in and still smoking a cigar with it, and I was fine. That's why this is
nothing.
Remember when you first
fine.
started the 12 milligrams and or the sixes?
Yeah.
And you were like, dude, I just did 2 of these, and I was like, oh, you want to try 2? And I took 2 and
just threw it in like it was nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Compared to
then I threw another 6 in. Once I started getting a little bit more into it, and threw another third 6 in, it threw me off. I was like, all right, I need to start slowing back.
Like if Derek he got woozy from that 175th, if he smoked a 175th the next day and then the day after that, he would be like already like once your body gets like used to it,
he doesn't.
It down pretty quick.
Yeah, he doesn't. He won't. How do you say it? I guess he wouldn't power through. Like, all right, I'm gonna try it once. I didn't have a good time. Let me try it again. Like that's how you obviously develop the strength of cigars, but strength of nicotine or tobacco and whatnot. But yeah, he's like, nope, one and done. I'm good. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
I don't think he would ever smoke a 175th again if we gave him one. I think
No.
he'd be too afraid.
I would want to give him a
180th.
Brimstone, but then I don't need him like puking in his yard.
Yeah. So before the Brimstone
Load
made
him
me
up with a
like
meal.
the Brimstone made me a little bit like I was a little like, all right, this is a lot. But
I
I was
think
able.
I've had
I ended up finding the last one that actually like I had to like made me woozy was probably the first time I smoked a Florida Dominicana double Lajero Maduro Chisel.
That
I was
could
still
do it.
working
That would
in
do
the
it.
store.
I would have
Oh,
guessed.
so you were
was
still
that
pretty
long
new.
ago.
I would have guessed the El Rico for you.
That was before. The El Rico was before this. So the last cigar before
Oh, okay,
Brimstone.
gotcha.
The El Rico was in my early days when like I was smoking like 858s, and then Felix was like, "Hey, Pop, you smoke this, bitch," and he would give me an El Rico, and then I would like lie on the floor for like a half hour. Dude, he used to smoke like El Ricos and La Glorias, and like he was just smoking an Opus all the time. And
I mean,
regardless
I
of the price, being able to afford that.
I was gonna say,
But
put
in
that aside.
terms
I
of
would if I could.
Opus is strong, man.
It typically like the Lost Cities too.
I
are
have
pretty
had, I have
strong.
given. Now this was mostly like when I was in my 20s, and like I was able to get a couple of Opus. I just started working in the industry, and I still had like some leftover like high school friends. I'm not really friends with them anymore, but I would like try to impress them, so I'd bring Opus to like a hangout.
Yeah.
Give out Opus on 3 different occasions. Somebody threw up from an Opus X.
I've only given out one to someone I knew actually smoked cigars enough to where they were actually able to name cigars, and I was like, okay, and they mentioned some stuff that had a little bit more strength to it, and I was like, all right, this is kind of valid. I know you'd be able to handle this, but anyone else, I'm like, nah.
Well,
first off, you also don't want to. You feel like you're also. I mean, I'm not saying waste it, but like you want someone to appreciate it because it is something like that.
I was trying to big ball people.
Of course.
Nowadays, I'd be like, I'm gonna give you. There's something else I can give you that you're gonna really enjoy.
Yeah.
That'll show you that I know what I'm talking about. I got like the fanciest thing ever and was just like, give it.
Of course.
Do this one. And like it was not a good move. But like there was quite a few.
It was probably
people.
funny to watch though.
It was hilarious to watch.
Exactly.
Because I had gotten my nicotine up at that point. So like I was fine with them, but watching my friend, like, yeah, you guys can't handle it. Meanwhile,
Good luck with this,
they're
buddy.
all like engineers now, and I'm, and I'm broke.
But you're having a good time.
We're having
a great time.
A real nice time.
Nice, a little bit more than adequate amount of fun, I would say.
Top 25. We have 2 more shows coming up. Next episode is going to be numbers 19 through numbers 11. And we should be joined by a very special guest. I don't want to say it in case something happens where they can't show up. And then we're going to have our final top 10 episode where we will be joined by our lead merchandisers, Andy, and I think Bobby's going to be in.
Yeah, he will.
And then
yeah.
Andrew and Robert will be joining us. But Warren, thank you so much for joining us for
Thank
this.
you guys for having me.
For all your,
Always
your
good time.
insight. You were really good this episode. I'm really proud of you.
I'm trying,
You
dude.
did
It's
a
a lot
really-
of fun. It's a
you
lot
did
of
a
fun.
real
I'm
nice
enjoying
job.
myself.
Chris, thank you for organizing this as always.
No problem.
So much
Thank you,
of this,
guys.
guys, is Chris and Steve. Actually,
Yes.
99.9% of it.
Thank
is
you
I
guys
do
very much.
little. But thank you for watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, keep it lit.